Kiki Ma Ma Ma. Welcome to Masters of Horror, the return of the Cult Film Showdown. I am Jim Cotta. I'm hosting this wander through the 2005-2006 TV series Masters of Horror, an anthology of some of the greatest directors and writers in horror history. And I am joined by Nick Boxer.
Greetings. Oh, I'm not doing the greetings and salutation. Hi.
That is so much smoother. I like that you're keeping it folksy. And Jack Hall.
Did you say Kiki Ma 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 is what the music for Jason actually is?
It is, yeah. It is Kill Mother was the first sounds from Kill Mother is what the music design incorporated.
That's hilarious because I always thought it was Kiki Ma Ma Ma, but I guess I was wrong.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just my Minnesota accent.
That could be it. That could be it. That's why y'all know so much about Canada because you're.
That's right. Well, I grew up, and that's why I'm bringing the Canada spotting to these episodes. Masters of Horror was shot in.
If you couldn't do the Canada spotting in this episode.
this one is the low-hanging fruit of Canada spotting. All right, we are on season 1, episode 5 of Masters of Horror, called Chocolate, or if you're fancy, Chocolat. And
you certainly are fancy. So.
That's right. I'm from the ritzy part of Minnesota. So Chocolate is the 5th episode. Jack, who are our Masters of Horror this time?
Well, it's really just one Master of Horror this time because it's Mick Garris on a screenplay from Mick Garris based on the short story from Mick Garris.
I wonder if he got paid each time for those.
He created the whole Masters of Horror thing, and now my theory is he created it just so he could do this episode of his own work. But man, that's good. Damn it, this is good stuff. We got to get this out there, pal. We got to get this out there. But he is. I mean, he did create Masters of Horror. He is he's an actor, writer, director, producer, podcaster. All generally within the horror realm. Probably best known for his multiple works with Stephen King's adaptations. He did Sleepwalkers, which I almost watched last night. Ride the Bullet, which I almost watched last night. Instead, I ended up watching Terrifier. Oh man, we got to talk about that someday.
That's the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my 7-year-old nephew's coming over today, and
do not show him Terrifier.
And I suggested to my wife Lacey, we could show him. Can we watch Terrifier 2? She's like, we can't watch that with him. I'm like, oh, because he hasn't seen the first one.
I never figure out what's going on. Oh, Art the Clown, what a character!
Mick Garris directed the Stand TV miniseries.
I was about to mention that one. Yeah, as well as the Shining TV miniseries.
Oh, I didn't know that. Nice.
So yeah, I would say Master of Horror. He earns it just on his clear love of the genre.
He also organized all the dinners that this series is inspired from.
Oh, and he co-wrote Hocus Pocus.
Oh, well then, you could bank on that forever. That's a classic. That'll be top of the obit.
Just got
sort of have a wasted Master of Horror in this as well. Matt Fewer, I think he almost qualifies. I mean, he did portray the Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man 2.
He was the trash man in a spectacular role in The Stand.
Yeah, it's hard to overtake his performance as Trash Man. That's just so locked in my mind.
Watching the new, you need a role to do that though. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I've watched.
It certainly doesn't do him any favors.
He's on the fringe. He's on the fringe of Master of Horror. Definitely the Trash Man, like say Lawnmower Man 2, and but I still remember him best from. I mean, of course, he was Max Headroom. Everybody's probably best knows him from that, but. And he doesn't have a large role in this, but I still remember a sitcom, Dr. Doctor. You guys remember that one? That was good.
Oh yeah, that's great.
No, I don't recall that one.
No, oh, he played a doctor.
Nice.
Doctor.
Was his last name Doctor?
I believe it was.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's worth checking out.
I think if I had a name like Doctor, I would I'd become a PhD, so I'd be Doctor, but not that kind of doctor.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Nick, what the heck happens in episode 5, Chocolate?
Well, we start off with our protagonist, a guy, supposedly, I think he's supposed to be sort of a lovable loser.
He got the loser part right.
He gets dumped by his wife, and he's in the divorce mode, and he's lost custody of his kid. And I think his job is synthesizing flavors for food additives, and he works alongside Matt Fewer, who also plays in a punk band for some reason, and he starts to taste chocolate in his sleep. And pretty soon this mysterious taste of chocolate in his sleep starts to develop into a psychic connection to a mysterious woman who lives far, far away. And at which point he decides to do the creepiest thing he possibly could do at every given point, and it ends with him killing her.
It's a good observation that he does make the creepiest choice every single time there's an option.
I don't know.
He goes looking for this one.
As soon as he started going blind and shit, I was like, you should see a doctor.
I think you get I think you start smelling and tasting chocolate. Wouldn't hurt to have yourself checked for a stroke.
Yeah, I think that's the first sign of a stroke. I was thinking the same thing.
It would have been nice if they tied in, his job to this whole thing.
I love how random the job is for the rest of the story. I was thinking just the other day of this area of work though, because non-nutritive food additives is the job that Mr. Griswold has in the vacation movies that Clark has. Non-nutritive food additives.
That's not interesting at all.
It is a straight, like it's almost like they had access to the lab and built out from that. Because early on he's
I'm not reading the short story to find out.
Early on he's tasting. He's working on trying to synthesize a flavor, and he's just tasting it like with his finger, and immediately afterward, Matt Frewer says that they tried that flavor before, but it made all the mice go blind or something like that. And
I
think it was honeydew, wasn't it? Honeydew or cantaloupe?
Honeydew was what he was trying to he said it was impossible. And none of the things I just said are important to the story in any way. That entire scene.
Neither was the punk rock scene.
Yeah, it feels like a story written around a bunch of sets. Like
you're a producer, you have to be creative about this shit, man.
Yeah.
I think my big problem with this one is it's less of a horror story and more of like a Hitchcockian thriller type thing. Like you could have seen this on Alfred Hitchcock Presents or something. Mm-hmm. And what it needed was a twist, and there's no twist.
Yeah, yeah, I think Hitchcock's a good way to put it. That it does feel like it has the structure of an Outer Limits or a Twilight Zone, but yeah, it's lacking that. It's not terribly horrific. Like it's. This is a discussion I've been having as I watch all the movies during Shocktober. Is like, where is the actual line between a thriller and a horror? It could be a bit gray, and there's no jump scares. I don't know if that.
No.
And but yeah,
there's only one murder.
I would put this more of a thriller. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and like I say, it lacked the twist. That's what it's missing. That thing that made you go at the end. Because I mean, it's like it basically tells you at the beginning he obviously murdered this woman.
Murdered somebody. Yeah, he murdered somebody. You know that from the start.
It was pretty obvious that it's going to be this woman. You know.
Well, it's this mini movie does feature my favorite trope of B movies, and once we noticed this on the Cult Film Showdown, our search for the ultimate B movie, you can't not see it after that. Like this starts with a dark room, and he's being interviewed by someone, presumably a cop. It just sounds coppish,
Yeah.
And he's got blood all over his shirt, and they're like, you got to tell us the story again. I'd like tell it for a third time, kind of thing, is what they tell, as what, a line from early on in the episode. And then at the end, they turn the lights on, and he's in the room, and the body's still there. and all of the cops are standing around. They've been in the dark for this entire time, literally. Like they shut off the lights, and everyone just waited for him to tell this story again, like it's at the campfire. But it's the interviewing the suspect or the individual while the body's still there it's just like it shows up more times than you would expect that to happen.
I don't know. I think they could have ramped up the horror factor if I wasn't actually cheering for everybody in this to die. Anytime anyone walks on the screen on this, I want to see this guy die.
I think I could have followed like all of the other threads that come up. I could have followed them quite easily if they wanted to do more of Matt Frewer, the 45-year-old. Having a midlife crisis and not sure if he should continue his punk band. That's an interesting story. I want that. With his mohawk toupee, which was brilliant.
Awesome.
That was fantastic. That was worth the price of admission right there.
I actually had a problem with his casting when he said he was 45 until I looked it up. He was only 47 at this point. So it was not far off. Matt Frewer is always just look 65.
Yeah, he was gray early, and he was and he had lost a lot of his hair. Even by the time, even doing Max Headroom, his hair was his hairline was quite far back.
Yeah.
So this is a wacky one.
Yeah, I mean, I really hated the protagonist, played by Henry Thomas, who played Elliot in E.T.
Mm-hmm.
I disliking him from the beginning did not help it. It has I'll give it this fantastic nudity again, fantastic, tons of it. But I mean, here's this character who's a 4, and his ex-wife is a 9. He goes to the grocery store, has a 10 hit on him, picks her up, bangs her, and then he's more in love with. He wants everybody to know he's more in love with the woman whose dreams he's seeing, and whose experiences he's having than anybody else. And so of course he goes after her. Again, he's a 4, she's a 10. I mean, Mick Garris is a 4, so you see what I'm seeing here. This is just projection of wishes and yeah, but great nudity. I'll give it that.
I can't fault you there. That is there's a couple of scenes in there. There's a couple of like this could almost be what was the name of the the anthology that was all erotic stories. Red Door, Red Book,
Red Door Diaries,
Red Shoe Diaries,
or
Red Shoe Diaries. It feels like that.
Red Shoe Diaries.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like one of those because he doesn't just see through her eyes. He tastes what she tastes, and feels what she feels, which includes her getting shooked by her boyfriend, which is a really weird scene to watch, as he's unsure of all these feelings he's having. He
didn't seem to be enjoying it at all.
No,
I mean, I assume that. I mean, at least the part where she's masturbating.
That seemed fun for him. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think.
I guess it would be. Yeah, it's a. I mean, they could have spent more time, like unpacking how you feel things through organs you don't have.
Well, there is absolutely no explanation of anything as to why this happens. That's another to me. I mean, it's like, why did this happen? Like, there's none. They didn't bother.
There's no turn at the end of like, hey, what's up with that voodoo doll she has there in the corner, or that what's that? That's strange. This monkey's paw has two fingers rolled down.
Even some sort of connection with the chocolate. I mean, after the first time he mentions it, it is sort of just left in nowhere.
Yeah, it's never mentioned.
Because, I mean, he even gives her chocolates near the end, and she throws them out immediately.
Well, because it's her boyfriend's brand, and her boyfriend that she,
And it was the creepiest thing he could do at that point is hand her a box of chocolates.
The creepiest choices, because he figures out through her visions where she is, tracks her down, goes to her door after he's broken into her boyfriend's house, the crime scene. So there was a bunch of different twists that I like, oh, I can see that this is leading towards her framing him for the murder, or
that's where I thought they were going.
Yeah. I mean, my theory the entire time, and there's nothing to substantiate this, is that the honeydew flavoring that he was experimenting with caused all this. Again, that's not substantiated in any
I
way.
Again thought that possibility.
It's the only other thing that happens in the movie.
I was thinking Matt Fuhrer had framed him, and the pop rocks in the cooler is how he did it.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely, like, surprise pop rocks is
or magic. What are those called when water grows little stalactites? Magic crystals.
Magic sand or something.
I can't believe I forgot when he's at the punk rock concert and they're playing that pretty good song. When the 10 came over to him and started hitting on him, I forgot that part. That made no sense. That's 3 10s he's got in a 9.
Oh, that's right. That was a different girl. That's yeah. I mean, this guy is basically walking panty remover, and
because he knows a coin trick with. I mean, I don't know.
It's so it's a thing. The Canada spotting in this one is low hanging fruit. This is the easiest Canada spotting I'm going to do.
Well,
in the
it
whole
goes
series.
from obvious Canada that they're shooting in to him traveling someplace that's obviously the exact same place in Canada.
It's Vancouver doubling as Chicago, and then he realizes through a longer than it should be looking things up on the internet scene where he sees a glimpse of a license plate that of a specific color, so he goes through all of the license plates, and it takes much longer than it should for him to see that it's a BC license plate.
That means he definitely went through 49 American license plates first. before he got to
A
Canada.
traveling montage would have been nice too, to establish some distance.
Yeah, he's just there. And he runs that license plate to get an address, which is not a thing you can do.
I was wondering that, because if that was a thing you could do, I have this guy who's a dick that I know, but I only know his car, and I would. I was like, if that's something I can
in this
do.
world is a little looser though, so I can let that go, because he starts just opening doors when he gets to Vancouver. I know Canadians are a little bit lax on the locking of doors in downtown Vancouver.
Yeah, it's definitely. I gotta say, having been there, it is the safest neighborhood you can imagine. Gastown in East Vancouver. It is basically like it's basically like 1970s New York. It is like it is the highest. I think it's the at one point it was the highest drug use rate in Canada. It is a very, very unsafe neighborhood, but the clock, very touristy location. The clock that they show you to show that they have moved to Vancouver. They show you a landmark that will only be recognizable if you've been to Vancouver.
Well, they also they show you, though, they go out of their way to show you a shot with a Canadian flag for like 30 seconds.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And I do love that they do an establishing shot with the waterfront of Vancouver, which for anyone that's watched TV in the last 20 years is that's the waterfront from Arrow in Emerald City, and in Smallville that was Metropolis's waterfront.
Hell, I think I saw it on Beachcombers once.
Well, at least the Beachcombers takes place
Coast,
there,
wouldn't it?
No, the Beachcombers was Vancouver Island.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah, it was. Yep, they were loggers.
Okay, I don't really know what Beachcombers is, because I'm, of course, Russian.
Just from the clips I showed
you.
Yeah,
no, I live in Russia.
It's hard. It's hard to get the context for Beachcombers, a show that ran for like 30 years from a couple of YouTube clips. But you guys heard some more.
So I feel like we're doing what this episode did at this point, and just trying to fill some time.
Well, let's not belabor this. We're gonna move on to the next. We'll move on to the next episode, and this it's an anthology. You're gonna get good ones. You're gonna get rough ones. Every anthology series has some that don't meet your taste. Pun very intended for this one.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I'm glad. I dislike subtleties, so
I didn't say I was proud of you for what you did there. I said I see what you did there.
Dad. All right. Well, we are continuing to watch Masters of Horror. This show is available. If you're in the U.S., it is available for free on Tubi TV and on Freevee. And it's available. Some of the episodes are on YouTube. And just look around. You'll be able to track these down. I think everything was released on individual DVDs as well as sets. So very easy to find, and in general, so far I'm finding it worth finding. So, if there's any last thoughts before we exit, yeah,
should we put random numbers to this one?
Oh yeah.
Oh, are we gonna rate this one? I'll give it 1 Alfred Hitchcock head out of 5.
1 Alfred Hitchcock head out of 5. I'll give it, out of 17, 6. 6 out of 17.
I will say, if it was an Alfred Hitchcock episode, I would give it higher.
My rating is 4.19, because 420 would be too entertaining of a rating.
All right, a flyover episode of Masters of Horror is our review. We are back next time with episode 6, season 1. The episode is called Homecoming. If you're watching along, we're going to do these in the order that they are listed on IMDb, which I think is the same order they're on Tubi. And for Nick and Jack and myself, please visit us on our social media. Support us on Patreon. Visit us at wetalkpodcast.com, where all of our past episodes, including the 100 and some episodes of the Cult Film Showdown, are posted. We'll talk to you next time.